doing, Brian?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, I was so funny when we talked about recording this. I was like, the day before I didn't get any sleep at all, which I'm just preparing myself for the baby, right? I mean, that's all I'm doing, just preparing myself for the baby. But we didn't get very much sleep. Taylor tossed and turned. She had some back pain, so on and so forth. And then we ended up going to a doctor's visit. And in that whole time, it's like I realized I slept for like an hour. And I was just not ready for the day. And we had business at Orner Brewing Company that night. And so I was just like, yeah, last night I got home and I'm just like, I'm ready for bed. And then so I woke up this morning, I'm a little bit more rejuvenated this morning. So, which is a little bit better than normal, but yeah, I'm ready to go, ready to rock.
If you want to get training for, fatherhood, I recommend, or parenthood, motherhood, all the hoods, I recommend you get into hunting because I woke up at 3:50 this morning. I was on the road by 10 after 4, sitting in the woods by 4:30. Not that you have to sit in the woods to be a parent, but
sometimes you want to run into the woods is what I've heard.
This is true. There are those days.
Did you go with anybody or was it just you?
Yeah, I went with my friend Nick.
Okay, cool.
We've been hitting the woods had this week looking for turkeys. And this is the thing I hate about turkey season. Not that we have to go into turkey hunting.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
We'll do a hunting episode soon. But it's this. When you want to hunt turkeys, they're nowhere to be found. And then everyone else is like, oh, I saw 15 turkeys in my yard yesterday. And I went to a coworker's house this morning, actually, because she's been sending me pictures of turkeys in her yard all week long. And we show up there and there was one and it's a female and you can't shoot those. Yep. So it's like, oh my gosh. But anyways.
That's funny you say that though, because Caitlin, my coworker at OBC, she's been going turkey hunting this week as well. That's awesome. She said the same thing. It's like all the turkeys. She's like, we saw 27 turkeys, all female. And so on and so forth. She's just like, it's so funny how it's the same thing, but at least the hunting compared to fishing. At least hunting, you're like, I know there's nothing out there, or I know that that animal is something I can't shoot. Whereas in fishing, you don't know what's below the water unless you're cheating and using it like a fishing, a sonar thing. But like you just throw your line out there and you're like, I'm hoping there's something down there. Let's see what's going on. At least hunting, you're like sit there and you can visually see what's going on. And if you don't see anything, you didn't miss anything. They just weren't there.
Oh yeah. Except like when this will happen all the time. You're sitting there waiting and like hours go by and then you finally decide to call it a day. And you stand up and then like 3 turkeys get spooked and then fly away. You're like, they were right there. But it's been pretty cool though. Like I was telling Gretchen, because this is maybe not obviously, but this is my first year hunting period. And Wednesday we went out. I went with my friend Justin and we're out in not Justin, you're Justin. I went with my friend Nick and we were out in Orrington at a undisclosed place. And we're just sitting there in the woods and it's just like you get there so early, it's just dead silent. But then the whole world just kind of like comes alive around you. And turkeys were just gobbling everywhere. And then like an hour later, they were all gone. They just they just knew we were there and they said, I'm not going out there.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I don't want to get killed. But it's fun. It's a new experience you've got, and you got into it because of your son wanted to get into it as well, right? I mean, you wanted to get into it, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk turkey hunting or hunting in general at some point would be cool.
Yes,
in general, but
we will got that one planned.
Looking forward to that too. We get Jude to come on.
Oh man, he'd love it.
He'd be famous.
He would. He'd be telling you all kinds of tall tales.
There you go.
Yeah,
what do you do? You catch a fish this big, it's really this big, and then this big. He's getting good at it, right?
Exactly.
But I'm about to have a baby.
Yeah, when's this due date?
The due date is June 6th. But so let's do a little recap here because we haven't talked to people in a little while. Is June 6th is the due date. Yeah, exactly. Live breaking news. No,
breaking news.
We had our last. We had an ultrasound a couple weeks ago, and he was estimated to be 5 1/4 pounds already, and that was at 33 weeks. And so with 7 weeks left, they're like, wow, he's going to be a big one. And my wife's not the biggest person in the world. So they're just, keeping an eye on things. And so we had a
Yeah.
couple appointments, and we had an appointment the following Monday to check with them. And they measured her stomach, and we're like, yeah, he looks a little big. So we scheduled another ultrasound. So we have one on, well, technically this will come out on the 14th. We have one on the 13th, which would be,
Nice.
we would have already been past it, but to check just to make sure everything's healthy and so on. And so if things progress and he's still gaining a lot of weight and still bigger, they look like they might end up trying to schedule an induction or a C-section at 39 weeks. So it could be a week prior, where we don't know. Obviously, no one ever knows exactly unless you actually do have a planned C-section or induction.
Right.
But we're pretty excited, and he's ready to come out. He's running out of room. His real estate is not doing very well right now, and
that happened. I mean, so Jude, he was 9 pounds 6 ounces. He was a tank when he was born, and Gretchen is super tall, but she's really, really thin. So like, she was all baby there for a bit, and people would see her be like, "Holy smokes, that baby is going to be huge." And they actually moved Jude's due date up a week, at least a week, or maybe even 2 weeks, from our original due date, because he was, growing at a quick pace. So, but all 3 of our kids were all inductions. They were all induced. So
that's the thing is they were talking about studies behind it, and it seems like, a lot of people, the natural is obviously the best obvious option because that's what your body's designed for. But they're saying there's nothing really like week 12, she was like, just, don't be afraid if we need to induce. Like, it's going to be okay. Things are fine. Many people have babies that are induced and all that stuff. So we're just ready. I mean, and the funny thing is Jude's not even that big. So like, be a 9-pound baby. It's not like he's this massive kid. I mean, he's taller.
He's super skinny.
Yeah. So he's not like he's not like giving you a linebacker from the NFL. Like,
he'll be like 6. I bet he'll be 6'3".
Yeah.
He'll have a good 7 inches on me by the time.
I mean, he got that from his mom. He didn't get that.
Oh yeah, no.
Like, let's be honest here. Brian's sitting down right now, but if he stands up, he wouldn't be much of a difference.
Yeah, I'm standing up now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just kidding.
No, but it's funny. So I was like thinking in my mind, I'm like, oh God, 9-pound baby, this kid's gonna be an NFL linebacker. But that's not true. I mean, just because someone's board big does not mean they're gonna be a big child. But it's just So we're ready. We're waiting, but like, it's every day, every week's new. My coworker Cassie, who's like the person who works directly underneath me and runs the tasting room, I can't bring it up anymore because she's like, I don't know, you're just gonna go one day and be gone for a couple of weeks. I'm like, that's how it works. That's how when a baby's born, it just happens and then you're gone. It's not a scheduled vacation. It's not like I can be like, I'm gonna be gone on this day. But in that case, it would be nice to be able to know. So if we find out on the 13th, 14th, we have an appointment on Monday of that next week to discuss the results of the ultrasound with our doctor.
Yeah.
And if that's at the point where we might know a little bit more and maybe like, okay, let's work on getting you in.
Yeah.
The problem with it is if it's not health related, we're at the mercy of the hospital,
right,
of when you induce the child. So it's like, it could be whenever there's an appointment available.
Yeah.
If it's for the safety of the child or the mother, then they'll schedule you and you like,
they bump you.
But like, it could be like, we could end up waiting until the actual due date because of that. But
so with Lucy, so she was scheduled to be, we were gonna have her induced. Gretchen just, I think after the first induction, they were like, you can schedule it if you want. So like, it's just easier. We like to have a plan.
Yep.
So we originally, she was scheduled to be induced on March 22nd, and then which we kind of picked because that was Gretchen's dad's birthday, and he passed away like maybe 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months before Lucy was born. So we just thought that'd be really cool. And then I don't know what happened 9 months prior, but there were a lot of babies born on the 22nd. So we actually got bumped to the next day, to the 23rd, and that's when she was born. But we knew one of the nurses up there, and she called us at like 6 a.m. or something. She's like, get up here now and I'm gonna break your water so they can't get rid of you. So we just flew up there, and I think I can't remember what time she was born, but she was born pretty early in the afternoon, I think. But
And it's funny too, because they say the one of our doctors, our doctor was like, hey, if we induce, that also doesn't mean that you're just gonna give birth right away. Like it's possibility that like
Oh yeah.
they induce someone and like 48 hours later she still hadn't had the baby, and so like, okay, now we have to actually do a C-section because this baby's not coming anytime soon. We need to do this, and so it's possible that we get induction, like as and that we actually end up having to do a C-section or something. But like,
Oh yeah.
it was it's not as simple as just like, okay, push a
Right.
button. We're gonna wait
Oh
20
yeah.
minutes now, and the baby's gonna be born.
You get to hear all kinds of interesting terms like scraping
Yeah.
membranes
Yes.
and
They've used the word ripening too much in the
oh
conversations
yes,
where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want that. Like, I like my
you're
ripe.
you're thinning and ripening.
I'm like, okay. It's funny because like I don't like we talked yesterday when we went to the doctors. We go to a residency program, and so we have our doctor's like towards the end of her residency program. So like to me, it's like she's been there long enough that she's the one answering other questions for other people and
Yeah.
training new people. But yesterday we had to have a different doctor, and it's one we hadn't seen. It was a male doctor, and it's like I don't have a problem with that as much. Like, it's not like he wasn't. It's not an issue to me. They're doctors. They're professionals. But it's just weird. Like I understand our doctors had like 3 or 4 kids. And so like listening to someone talk about pregnancy and giving birth and being a doctor and being a professional, having the information necessary, but also living through it, like it
Yeah.
definitely was more helpful to me than yesterday talking to this dude. And I'm just like, this guy's obviously first of all, this guy's young enough. He probably doesn't have any kids. I didn't ask him, and I'm not
Right.
judging anybody, but like, I was like, yeah. And you don't, and like you learn this all in school, but you haven't lived it like our doctor has. So like, I can't wait to
Yeah.
talk to our doctor again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Life
Yeah.
experience.
And that's the thing. It's like we're talking here. We don't know. We've been on, like, you've been on the outside of it, holding your wife's hand during pregnancy and giving birth,
Right.
but you haven't actually pushed a child out of you. So it's like
Thank God I have not.
The number of times during this past 9 months now that I have been talking, been like, I am so proud of you, and it's
Right.
mainly because I am so proud of you because there's no way that I could have done this. Like I am not strong enough to do this. Like I'd be like, get this out of me.
Oh well, and I think, I'm a believer in, that there was a plan for
Yeah.
creation and all this stuff, and so, I think that there's a reason it takes 9 months for pregnancy to happen, and not just because it's that baby has to grow, but I think it's just interesting to see the transition of a woman's mind and how you go from, oh, I'm pregnant, to, oh crap, I'm pregnant, to
Mhm.
you know scared, and then like, just get this thing out of me, and it's like it has that time to prepare them. But as a dad and seeing your wife, or as the spouse or whatever, seeing your wife go through that, it is a trip. And you're proud of your wife right now. You just wait
Mhm.
that day, like when that finally happens and the baby's born, and the nurses are bringing your wife a big milkshake from downstairs, because that's what most women, they just
Yes.
love milkshakes at that stage. I don't know, and they're amazing. But like, it's just like, I just remember sitting there just being like, holy smokes, I cannot believe you just did that. It's amazing. And so it's just it's wild. It's
And with you
wild.
guys too, it's like you guys obviously make a conscientious decision to have multiple kids,
We
and
did.
so not only did they do all the your wife did all the experience of having one, and was like, I'll do that again and again.
Yeah. And
And so
again.
like, and so there's that aspect of it too. That my mom did it the
Yeah.
same thing, and my mother-in-law did the same thing. And it's like we're all like one of threes, and um it's an interesting thought process to think about the stress that goes into the 9 months of having a
Oh
child for
yeah.
on the woman's body and her mind, but also mine. I'm stressed for the past 9 months. You kidding
Yeah.
me? And it's gotten worse as it go along, because I'm just like, wait, when I leave the doctor's office or the hospital after the baby's born, I get to take my child. They have no idea who I am. They don't
Oh
like,
yeah.
they don't, what am I? I'm gonna take this human being home and take care of it. I'm like, I can't take care of myself, man. Like, this is gonna be
That first
difficult.
couple of days is so weird, because you're like, it's kind of, I remember when Gretchen and I got married, I was 22, maybe 21, 22. I remember being on our honeymoon, and like, I was young. We're still finishing college.
Mhm.
Like I hadn't really like lived on my own. Like I lived at college up in Canada,
Yeah.
but just different. And I remember like we're down in Florida and renting a car and being like, am I allowed to do this? Can I check into this hotel? Like,
Yeah.
am I old enough for this? And so that day when you walk out with a child, you're kind of like, is this okay? Am I allowed to remove this baby? It's so weird. And it's funny. I think it's with, I can't remember which kid it was, Lucy or Lennon. I remember like holding the baby and then like walking out of our room a little bit. And they were like, whoa, you can't like walk around with your child. Like you had to like keep him in the little bassinet thing on wheels. And I was like, I'm a trained professional at this. I already have a kid at home. Like you're telling me I can't hold my own child out in the hallway. This is weird. And so they maybe like put her back in the thing, but it is just a weird experience to go from living your
Yeah.
life like, there's no tomorrow, and then being like, oh, this kid will die if I don't
Don't take care of it.
clean its butt and
Yeah.
feed it and all that stuff.
It's funny though, because like the nurse we had yesterday talked about the idea that everything moves fast and don't take it for granted and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that, read it in books. Parents have told you, obviously you listen to it. Sometimes you don't have a choice, so things just move fast. It's not like it just happens, but
Yeah.
like embrace the moments and all that stuff. So we're brewing a beer on Wednesday to release on the 27th, 28th of May. In honor of our having a child, and which is
it
pretty
called
cool.
Afterbirth?
No, yeah, exactly. It's got a little oaky afterbirth in this right here. The the beer, and it's honor of our son, so we're like laughing about it. And I told Asa, I was like, I'm gonna keep one of these cans, joking around, because it's gonna be an IPA,
Yeah.
and IPAs last like 90 days max, and you shouldn't drink them anymore. Like there's a shelf life to them. And I was like, I'm gonna keep it 21 years. So on his 21st birthday, he can drink this beer. And he's
This
like,
nasty beer.
It's like he goes, it's like when you keep your slice of your cake from your wedding to eat a year later and you freeze
Right.
it. And I was like, yeah, but you freeze that. That's not the same thing. This beer is gonna be disgusting at 21 years. And I was like, we'll just have to, brew another one in 21 years in honor of his 21st birthday. And I was laughing. I'm like, 21 years? That's a long time. Wait, I have to take care of this kid for that long? Like in my mind, I'm like, oh man, I had a cat for 3 months and I got rid of it.
At today's standards, that kid will be living with you till it's 30.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Jeez.
Well, who was it? Someone mentioned that they had gone a week and a half past their due date. And the doctors were like, okay, now we have to this baby has to come out of you. This is not like whatever. And she goes, for the rest of his life, the late jokes are never going to be old. They're going to be like, oh, he's 5 minutes late to work. Yeah, it's because he was also late at the very beginning of his life.
7 days late to show up for his birth.
Exactly. So it's like, maybe if he comes early, he'll always be early, and that'll be good. He'll get jobs. He'll get
It's funny. Gretchen, she said that like our best friends just had their third child. And so like a week ago, maybe week and a half, I don't know. It was already born. And so we were talking to them, and Gretchen, like just like a lot of women, she just loves babies. And she's like, I would do the whole 9 months again. She's like, I would, do the labor and birth a child again just to have the baby. She's like, I just don't want the toddler phase, like the 3-year-old. Everyone says terrible twos, but that's because their kid's not 3 yet.
Yeah.
And so it should be like the terrifying 3s. That's the worst year for us. But she's like, if I could just skip that year, I'd have all kinds of kids. But
and there's a bunch of things that go into it. And one of our customers last night was talking to me, and he was like, he has a daughter who's maybe 10 years old, and she was all upset because a 3-year-old cousin was coming over, and they had to put all of her, like, she has a bunch of Legos they built and all that stuff. They had to put all those away and all that stuff. She goes, oh gosh, why does he have to come over? It's like, even this 10-year-old was like, I don't want a 3-year-old around.
They just take all my toys.
Besides, they break things. I can't have fun. Nothing belongs to me.
Choke on everything.
Now, part of that is the only child aspect, probably too. I mean, she's an only child, so maybe that is it. She never had to share anything with anybody else.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of funny. She's like, oh, that 3-year-old, why does he have to come over?
Yeah. I'll tell you, the best feeling is when you can start on baby proofing your house.
Yes,
From
I
like
bet.
all of our cabinets. We have all those little things, so you can't pull drawers open, you can't pull cabinets open, and those are so annoying. And I'm so excited to not have, like, we've been slowly taking most of those down now with Lennon, because she's old enough to kind of, you could tell her not to do something and she'll not do it. But it's, you know, it makes it fun though.
I will say one of the things that so we talked at the beginning of when we talked about starting a family. Obviously, we talked about starting a family while we were engaged. Like it was just that aspect of like what's our life look like and so on. But like when we really discussed like, okay, let's attempt to create a child.
Yeah.
We things came up about one child versus children. All that other stuff. And it's so funny that we decided right now, okay, we'll have one and we'll deal with the second one. And if at some point, if we wanted to have a second one, let's have the first one. But
Yeah.
my mother-in-law and my uh Taylor's Nana are both like, so you guys gonna have a second one? We're like, we haven't even had the first one yet. Can you just like slow your roll a second? Like,
let's figure out if we could do this one first.
yes, exactly. Let's make sure that this one, like, I can actually handle this now.
Yeah.
But then I mentioned the whole thing too, like you mentioned about the safety things. It's like, well, if you have two and they're spaced out enough, is it just your entire 10 years of having children all have safety things on them that you never could actually live your life in a normal household?
Yes. That is it. But that's like, as you get older and your kids get older, like Lucy is holy jeez, she's 9, holy, and then Jude's 11, and so it's like they're at an independent age. Like we can leave Jude home and go to the store and stuff like that, and so, but then when we had Lennon, it's kind of like you reset that clock almost of like what responsibilities you have. With each new kid, you kind of step back into that, but it's kind of all part of the decisions. And it's funny, like we talk about when Jude, so we had Lucy when Jude was just turning 2. He had just turned 2 when Lucy was born. And so he didn't really care about her at all. Like he maybe held her a couple times, but he wasn't like wowed about it because he was so young. It wasn't a big thing for him. He's probably more annoyed by her in the long run. But then they were both so much older, Lucy and Jude, when we had Lennon, that they both like Jude. We were looking at photo books the other day, and Jude used to hold her all the time, and Lucy would hold her. So it's like there's so much that goes into when you're gonna have a second kid, and like, do you want them to be real close in age?
Yeah.
Because like you and your brothers, like you and Jeremy are pretty close in age, right?
All of us are 2 years and 3 months apart. So
Yeah.
I am the middle child. So I'm equally a difference between my two brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you're real close that way.
Yeah.
But then there's like, well, if you have like 5 years, then the older kid, knows more and kind of there's just a whole different dynamic to it. But get through
Maybe
the first
5 years
one.
later, you can recover financially a little bit.
Maybe. But then they start eating more. And
I'm trying to get hopeful here, man. Like, no,
it's awesome.
It is, and it's that's the thing people are talking about. Like, you excited to be a father? I'm like, I feel like I already am. First of all, like I just like there's things that you have to do to take care of it. Like I've gone to more doctor's appointments in the past 14 months than I've gone in my entire life.
Right.
And so it's like I'm at the doctor's more, so it's like I'm going to be doing that with children as well. I've had to take off time personally for things like doctor's appointments more than I've ever had, which I will also have to do when I have a child. So it's like there's things that I'm also like already ready for. I mean, his bedroom is all set up. Like I have some stuff in the middle of the room right now stored because he's not sleeping in there yet. But the idea that I'm already not prepared, because I don't think I'll ever be actually fully prepared.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm ready to the point where it's like if the baby was born tomorrow, then I'm ready to take on that responsibility. And so like people are all, you excited? I'm like, yes. But now I've got myself so prepared that I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
get here already.
I'm going to forget some of the stuff that I've learned already. And it's not even here yet.
That's awesome. Yeah. But I know it's like you get to the point where it's like you're scared, you're nervous, you're getting ready. And then now you're just like, all right, let's get this rolling. Let's get the baby here. And so Yeah.
It's coming. I mean, it's exciting. Taylor's ready. She's 100% ready. Like she's just like, let's
Yeah.
go.
Good.
I have an estimated due date of my own mind is May 27th. I
Oh,
don't know where that date came from. It just came out of nowhere. My mom.
are we taking polls here? I'm
I
gonna
don't know. I was
go.
gonna start taking over unders and taking some maybe making some money for his college fund, but I didn't get it
I'll
started
go
yet.
the
But
28th.
there you go. See, that's why my mom wants to, because if you look at the weekend, so my mom's a paraprofessional in Connecticut, so she gets the summers off because she works at a school,
Oh,
and she gets
nice.
holidays off like Memorial Day and Labor Day and all that stuff off. And so she texted me and we're talking back and forth, and I was like, oh, he looks like he's gonna be a big baby. You know, they're talking about potentially being a week early, if that, and da 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 da. And she goes, I really hope it's the 27th or 28th. And I was like, cool, me too. And then I'm like, wait, why? And she's like, oh, so I can come up and see the baby right after he's born and not have to
Yeah,
take that
Memorial
Monday
Day.
off. I'm like, oh, okay, I see how it is now. It's all about what you want, mom, right? And it's,
Exactly.
and I'll let her have this. Happy Mother's Day to my mom, but like,
There you
I'll let
go.
her have that. But like in my mind, I'm like, actually, that would actually make a lot of sense to me too, because I just feel like it makes a lot of sense in that timing. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. The 27th of May sounds perfect for me. I
It's
think
good.
Taylor picked the 25th. Abe wants it to be June 2nd because that's his birthday. And I was like, you want to share your birthday with my
I
child? I
know.
don't think you
See,
want that. Like,
everyone thinks that's a cool idea, but then when you got to share it, I mean, I guess with him, it's not like,
yeah,
you know,
he's also 40, so it's not like it's
yeah,
this person who's 6 and you have to share your birthday with that person.
right.
We're
Yeah.
having different birthday parties for Abe versus my son. Like,
Yes.
it would
Which
be a
she probably
different
would
approach.
anyways. Let's be
Yes.
honest.
But the idea that this sharing a birthday with someone, I mean, like, as long as he doesn't come on the 15th, because that's my birthday of May. I'm like, I don't want to, like, not that I wouldn't, like, obviously I'll take him whenever he comes, but like my thought
Yeah.
is like, it's nice to have him have his own identity to the point where he has his own birthday.
Right. Yeah.
But then also Taylor was like, June 2nd would be kind of cute too, because that's when we went steady. Like
Oh.
we started dating on the 2nd of June was our like
Oh.
date. And
That's
so
what
she's
she
like, that'd be
answered
kind
the
of
note.
cool. Yeah. And she says, I said, yeah, check yes or no, or
checked
maybe.
yes.
She checked maybe. I had to convince her to say yeah.
Figures.
But yeah, so that would be fun to do on that date. And I have a buddy of mine who's the third, my buddy
Nice.
Justin Barnes, but or the first, one of the two. But you know, I was like, yeah, whenever he comes, I don't care. I want to meet him. I'm not tired of it, because it's one of those cool feelings of feeling your child kick in the stomach.
Yeah.
Stomach of your wife. But like the idea that I'm tired of that now. Like I'm like, okay, can I just hold you? Let's go.
Right. I want to
move along.
see who you look like. Do you look
Yes.
like me? Do you look like her? What part of me do you look like?
Looks like, yes,
You know,
exactly.
all
Do you
that
have
stuff.
hair? Do you not have hair?
Yes.
Which we had an ultrasound. She's like, yeah, he has hair. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's always my favorite part. See, like
but I look
Lucy
at
and Lennon had an insane amount of hair when she was born. Like almost 2 inches of hair. It was just crazy.
But
And
the
then
ultrasound tech was like looking at me, goes, "Oh, look, you can see hair." And I'm like, cool. And then
yeah,
afterwards, I'm like, Taylor, I have no idea what the hell
I'll
she's
take
talking
your
about.
word for
I'll
it.
take your word for it. She looks at these for a living. She
Right.
knows, but I didn't see anything on there. I see a smear on the thing, and
It was just a
and she's like, "Oh, he has a
fingerprint.
full head of hair." And then she backed her up a little bit. She goes, "Well, he has hair right here." He potentially could be bald in the back. We don't know. I just don't
It's a
want to. I
mullet.
don't want to alarm you right now, but like, there's a possibility he's not full head of hair. But
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it was just kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, all I see is a little smear on there. I don't actually see what's going on. But see, when my son is old enough, Jude will be able to babysit, right?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
They'll teach him all the things.
All the things. Yeah. Now it's the next thing is just we're trying to find a daycare, because you know that's not an easy little undertaking, but we're working on it. That's the fun part. So
we were blessed with my mom watched our kids. Gretchen at the beginning, she would work like a couple of days a week to keep sane, and so she wanted to keep working for a couple of days a week, and then eventually, I can't remember. I think she just ended up getting done with around Lucy. Yeah, after Lucy was born, she got done completely. But so we didn't have the daycare thing, but
and I've talked about it. I was like, I'd be a stay-at-home dad, and not because I don't want to work, because I love working, but my aspect of like, I have other projects that I could work on that could be worked around the time to supplement some income and keep myself sane. but the idea of working from home, Taylor's future is better. Like, I'm not saying my future at owner brewing company is not great. My future is great. There's not much other than me moving to ownership, which is not coming anytime soon. That yes, my pay might increase here and there, but at some point it's got to cap out. Like, there's got to be a point where I'm like, we can't pay you that much to do what you're doing. Which again, nothing wrong with that. It just there is that point. And and so I either have to change jobs at some point or, potentially stay home. But I was like, it wouldn't be for a number of years. And Taylor's the one that's got the future. She's the structural engineer. Like, her job there's a point where she's going to make some big money in it, hopefully, and I could actually step away. But I was like, but the time she gets to that point, and by the time I get to the point where I'd want to step away, the babies are going to be old enough that it really is not going to matter anymore. Like, it's what I'd want is this summer to be that time, and it's not the time. So we'll do the summer with Taylor's obviously getting some leave. I have some leave, and then my mom, with being a paraprofessional, she'll be up a couple of weeks.
Nice.
My dad will come up. My mother-in-law lives in Augusta, so she'll come up. All vaccinated, which is awesome, makes it a lot easier for everything. And then we'll try to get something for September. And so that's what we're working on right now. But it's a little bit more tough right now. I think there's also a lot less in-home daycares because some of them may have closed due to the fact that they had to close and money wasn't coming in and all that stuff too. So COVID's made it a little bit harder. But luckily, we both have pretty easygoing jobs, but jobs where if crap hit the fan, we could actually like be home and not have to worry about, like, if I had like, hey, this week I just can't work at OBC, then I could be home during the day and then pop up when Taylor, that kind of thing. So it makes it easier. But we're looking for daycare now, which is crazy to look for a daycare for a baby that's not even born yet.
Right.
Like it's like finding a garage for a car that you don't own yet. It's the weirdest thing that, like, or like, finding car insurance for a car you don't own yet. It's like, or have yet. It's like, it's just weird. It's that the mentality, you have to be that far ahead. You have to be 3 or 4 months ahead.
Do you know what
rather
college?
Been 6 months ahead, but
you know what college your son's going to go to?
Yeah, exactly. Right. He's paying for it himself.
He'll be free by the time he's going to college.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That'd be nice. But yeah, we're excited. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I mean, I've talked to you multiple times about things, and we've talked on here, and I'm going to be scared, obviously, because you're scared. Anything new you do, you're scared. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited because, we're both full force into it. I do feel like I have the support structure around me. So if I had a question, I could call you, I could call your wife, I could call friends of mine who have had babies. I could, Mike and Karen are good friends of them. They've had multiple kids. So like, I could call people. I could call my parents. I have a good support structure around me that I'm happy about.
It's good.
That makes it easier. And then my mother-in-law being only in Augusta, compared to if Taylor was from out of state, my parents live in Connecticut. So it's like, I can't be like, hey, Friday night, I really need I gotta work. Taylor's gotta work, do this, can you come watch the baby? And have it be like, oh crap, my mother-in-law lives in Augusta. She can come up and help. So there's some things that I'm really looking forward to. Taylor's aunts live in Brewer. So
nice.
And then hopefully we'll buy a house in the fall, where that's what we're going to hope for. So they'll have a place that he can grow up and spread his wings out a little bit.
Well, the house right next door to me just sold, so you should have been on that.
I know. I didn't have the money for that house, but I also didn't have the timing for that house, and
it was ridiculous.
The other thing is, like, Taylor's dad must have spent something like, it was not that much for his house. He ended up selling it just yesterday or the other day for $20,000 over asking.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, so you're selling a house right now. If you guys are like, I'm ready to sell my house, but buying a house, you're just going to lose any profits you made.
Right. Yeah.
And selling the house and buying the house. So it's like, it's just not the time. And there's a house that a friend of Heather's is selling out near where Abe and Heather live. That has 4 acres and so on. And it was appraised for a good price. And so we're going to look at that and see. They're building a house. And
any
so
turkeys out there?
I don't know. Maybe we can figure that out. Will be one turkey out there, myself, right?
Boom.
Hey-o. They so yeah, we're gonna look at that. So that'll be the next big thing, hopefully. And if it doesn't work out for the fall, if the prices are still where they are, I'm gonna wait. But like,
it's crazy.
I'm just gonna waste money. It's like, I might as well just pay the thousands of dollars extra I pay on an extra mortgage than just pay rent for a few more months until the prices come down. Hopefully,
I just feel like, it's an awesome time to sell your house if you can then go rent an apartment for a year or something. But I just have to wonder, what's going to happen to all these people who buy these insanely expensive houses and pay way over, and then you decide to move in 5 years, and now you've got
Now
a
you're just
house
trying
you
to sell
paid
it for
way
way
more.
less for the, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it won't, but who knows?
I have a feeling. I mean, I feel like there's a
Yeah.
little bit of a post-COVID kind of like changing things. I don't honestly couldn't give it an actual. There's some of them also, I think, is there's people that were going to be building that opted not to build because of the price of lumber.
Yeah.
And so there's
It's
that aspect
insane.
too. It's absolutely insane. Like absolutely ridiculous. I
I,
wouldn't.
I saw some meme on Facebook. The guy had, it was like one of those, like it was a big truck with like wood chips in the back, just like wood
Yeah.
chips. And it said like, I saw a millionaire drive by me the other day because like wood is so expensive.
All I can picture is now, I haven't seen one yet, but now that made me think of, you should have a Scrooge McDuck like jumping into the pile of coins.
Right.
Someone just jumping into a pile of wood chips, being like, "This is very equal. It's not any different."
Seriously.
It's insane. It's one of those projects where you think like, "Oh, I should redo my build a garage," and it's like, well, maybe I wait. I can deal with sitting in the rain for a little bit until that garage is done.
Yeah.
Again, it's astronomical. What, 4 or 5 times the amount? Like, it used
Yeah.
to cost $1,000 to build a deck, is now costing $5,000 or $6,000 to build a deck.
Yep.
Is insane. So,
It's,
and that's not just cost of labor. That's doing it all yourself.
oh yeah.
Like, there's labor there too.
Like
So
$2 2x4s are like $8 now.
yeah.
More, it's just wild.
So Brian and I are gonna start selling wood on the black market.
That's right.
So we're gonna fund our lives. That's how I'm gonna work from home. I'll just start cutting trees. No.
Well, I can't like the price of coffee and beer go through the roofs. Then we can make more money.
Exactly.
Why does it have
right?
to be wood?
Right.
Gosh.
I don't know. Because wood's
Maybe we
better.
could. I'll start a rumor that coffee prices are going through the roof.
So everybody will stop drinking. That's the thing about coffee and beer.
Maybe
Like,
it
went to the roof.
tea.
You're like, okay, I'm done. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll just start now. I'll buy a Red Bull or whatever. It's not.
Yeah.
If you said the price of caffeine, now that's a different story. If you said the price of caffeine was going through the roof, I think people would still. That's when you would be a problem, because people, if you said coffee, they just switch to some other caffeinated.
Right. Yeah. I guess.
So
you're so smart.
I know, right? That's why we are. No. But sweet. I'm excited. And
well, there by the next episode, you might be a dad.
I'll be a dad in the next episode. We'll talk that too and figure that one out. But it'd be
We
fun
are
to
still going live from the delivery room, right?
yes.
Okay.
I gotta get multiple cameras. Multiple camera angles, and then you and I are just gonna sit over in the corner and do live commentating the entire time. Is that cool? Like,
that sounds awesome.
no, we'll do like a game where you face away, I face towards, and I explain everything to you.
Right. I remember with Jude the first time, I was like standing on one side of Gretchen, and then the doctor was like, "I need you to go to the other side." And I was like, so I have to like walk by the front there. I was like, I don't know.
Well,
I'm good.
That's funny how you mentioned that. Like, one of the things I'm reading that book, Watch Your Junk. And the guy said the funny thing is, as males, we spend our entire lives trying to find a little picture, like try to look at a woman's vagina, and and you finally get an opportunity to actually like walk by and see one, and you're like, no, I don't want to see that. I'll keep walking.
I remember we went to like one of those, it was like a birthing class before we had Jude.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny, Gretchen was, and all women are different. All women are different. All guys are different. And, like some people function best when they know all the details,
Mm-hmm.
Like they know what to expect. We kind of, with our first, Gretchen was like, I just want to know as little as possible. Like, I don't want to know all those specifics and stuff. And I remember like, we left the class early because they were going to show like all the videos and stuff. We're like, no, we're good. Like, nope. And the instructor lady, she's like, and for my third child, I actually reached down and I delivered the kid myself. Like, I pulled the kid right out, and I was like,
all set.
No, I'm good.
That's what you pay the people.
I'm paying like 10 grand for this baby. I'm not gonna pull it out myself.
You do it.
Yeah.
It's the places that you go, and like why I don't like lobster in the actual shell when you go to restaurants, because I just paid how much for this lobster? You can crack it and get it out of the shell. Paying this much for this baby, you can deliver it.
Exactly.
But I'm
I did cut the
excited.
cord though. That's the fun
You
part.
did?
Oh
For
yeah,
all of them?
all three.
Ah, see, I know it's nothing. There's no pain in there for anybody. I
That's
don't know.
great. It
I'm
is. I feel like the first time I was like a little nervous about it because
yeah.
I don't know. You're like, that I'm a texture guy, when I
Yes.
with stuff. So I was just like,
Yes.
is this going to be like cutting steak or is this like cutting a piece of spaghetti? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, where is that? I don't want to be like, you know,
Well, that's what someone told me the other day. They did that.
oh, see, that would creep me right out. But I feel like it's it's just the moment, and you're
Yeah.
all that, it just goes so quick, and it's not like they asked me ahead of time. They just kind
Yeah.
of like had it all ready, like, you
Yeah.
gonna do it? And I was like, I can't not do it. So that
I'm not gonna wimp out now.
yeah, she just did that. I think I can cut that thing. Piece of cake.
But yeah, I forget who was talking to me about that. They said that they went to do it and it was like they got given them the most dull pair of scissors ever. And it was just like trying to cut through something with this pair of crappy scissors. And he's like, yeah,
Oh
they could have
man.
at least given me like the nice shears, right? Like the ones
Right.
they've sharpened.
If we had another kid, I'd bring my own knife. She'd be
Yeah.
like,
Switchblade. Yeah.
yeah, I
I
got
got
my
this.
own. I came prepared this time.
You're like pushing the doctors out of the way with your shoulder, your elbows. You're like, I got this. Let me get
I
in
got
here. Hold on. Let me. You got the camera ready? So there's a
Oh
bunch
man.
of things I'm yet to learn. I'm ready to learn them and do that alongside with my friends here, with you and some people we're having on. So we'll get Ryan on soon. Talk hunting.
Yes.
We're gonna hopefully get Mike, my buddy Mike, on to talk. And then there's other people. I think there's some cool people we can talk about and
Oh
have some
yeah.
fun ones and see what we're gonna do. And maybe next time I'll actually have the baby so I can show the baby off a little bit on camera,
Ooh.
which will be nice. But
All the moms and the dads can go, aw.
yeah.
Do you have a name picked out, or are you keeping that hush
We do
hush?
have a name picked out, but I think it's been said on here. My dad might have said it last time. It's so I don't really care. We're just not posting it on like Facebook right now. We're telling
Right.
people, so you can find out here if you want to find out here. His name is
Ooh.
Nova Michael.
No, I think
Nova.
that sounds familiar.
Nova. Nova Michael. And so
Nice.
yeah, so we were just like, we're not gonna be like, and an announcement is this, but we're not also gonna keep it if someone
Right.
asks, here you go. And this
Mhm.
is obviously the three people that will listen to this. No, I'm kidding. More than
Just
three
kidding.
people listen to this, but the people that don't, it doesn't matter to us. It was just one of those things that we would kind of like the idea if you posted a picture of the newborn
Yeah.
baby online, that's when most people found out the baby's name.
Yeah.
But like when people come in and ask me
cool.
regulars that know we're having a baby, I'm like, yeah, his name's Nova. And so on. I mean, I even went and got the tattoo of Nova.
Oh man.
This is Nova from comic books, but yeah, it's not named
Ah.
after a comic book character. I should have clarified that ahead of time.
Is it named after the Oasis song Champagne Supernova?
No, but the beer we're doing is called Little Supernova.
Oh, you should make it Champagne Supernova.
And do it like with champagne yeast and made it like 11% alcohol.
See, now you're totally rethinking it.
See, gosh, too bad I already ordered the beer labels. No, but so Taylor and I were talking about Nova and it was like one of those like, cool, this is a fun name. We like it. We actually had it picked out originally for a girl's name, that if we had a girl, that's what we were going to call her. But then we like talked about it further and I'm like, I still like Nova. Like I still like it a lot. We should go with that. And then we did some more research and found out traditionally it is a male name. It's a boy's name. It's just over the years, it's become more of a unisex name. Yeah. And so we're kind of happy with that. And then my middle name is Michael. And then also my best friend and my best man, his name is Michael too. So it kind of added a couple things to it with Michael. Yeah. We like the way it rolled off the tongue. Nova cool. Michael. And so yeah.
And it's not like, I feel like a lot of people don't tell the name because that's, like,
yes,
it's something more traditional, and so like, and there's people be like, oh, I knew a Justin once and he was a jerk, or like, oh, well, my kid's going to be named Justin. Like, there's not going to be another Nova up in the,
well, and that's the thing. It's like,
nursery. So
it But the other part of it was like, if people didn't like it, they weren't gonna like the people that told me they didn't like the name are also the people that have the guts to tell you they don't like the name after the baby's born. They're actually holding the baby. So like to me, it was like, I'm not gonna. And plus, I don't care what people like. It's like when someone tells me the new movie that's out in the theaters is bad, I don't usually listen to them. I go watch the movie and I'm like, I agree with you, or I don't. And so if someone was like, I don't like that name, I'm like, tough luck. It's not your baby. It's mine.
I'm just gonna call him Michael because I don't like Nova.
Well, you can never see the baby then. Thanks. Yeah, your choice. But that's the thing. It was like, I don't care about what other people thought. And like I said, like, there's a couple people that are going to voice their opinion and they still would have voiced their opinion if they were holding the baby. I'm like, no, you cannot make for this child's name anymore. He's in front of you with it. You can't convince me to change his name. It's on his birth certificate. Like, I'm not, because you don't like it. But so, yeah, we're excited. Nova's going to be born. Hopefully,
nice.
A couple weeks now.
On the 28th.
Yeah, see, no, 27th. See, you got it wrong, man. But
me and your mom are right. Just trust us.
What are you talking about? It's Mother's Day right around the corner. She's always right. I don't know what you're talking about. Always right.
I've been telling people every day is Mother's Day at our house.
Oh yeah, like is that Valentine one? I don't need
Gretchen
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Gretchen rolls her eyes.
She goes, "Oh really?
Yeah.
How come I did the dishes last night?"
Oh goodness.
But yeah, so we'll be back soon. We'll do this soon again and have fun with this. So we're on Facebook, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. I sound so enthusiastic saying that, don't I?
Subscribe, like, share, follow.
I listened to a new podcast called No Dunks, and it's a basketball podcast. Great podcast, though. You should, if you're listening to a podcast, No Dunks on the Athletic Network. But he always goes, yeah, and while you're on YouTube there, why don't you smash that like button? I was like, I want to steal that so bad. Like, how are you guys there? Smash that subscribe button and like us on Facebook. I was
watching this YouTube channel. It was on like really creepy, weird conspiracy type stuff. I don't know. It's a good one. I can't remember the name of it, but I liked it. But the guy, I mean, he had thousands of episodes. Like he said, they do like 3 to 4 episodes a week, and I was like, holy smokes! Yeah. But every time at the beginning, I'm gonna sneeze.
He does that at the beginning. He sneezes.
That's what he does every episode. No, at the beginning he says some like completely random like phrase. Well, he'll say like, and while you're at it, next time you're in the grocery store and you see a kid wearing a t-shirt grabbing a can of Pringles, won't you tell him hit the subscribe button so you can know when all our new videos come out. It's like the most random collection of words to form a sentence, and then he tells you to subscribe through it, and every episode's different. He never repeats. And I was like, that must take him so much time
to think about,
like, let alone to create a YouTube video. But then
do you subscribe?
No.
Okay, that makes something different. It made you subscribe. It's a different story. Like, of course I'm gonna subscribe now. This is badass.
I took like a couple of days. I was going down his rabbit hole, but I had to take a break. Put me in a dark place.
Comic book for you, not for your son, because it's a little bit more adult, but the Department of Truth.
Oh,
it's on Image Comic Books. There's 8 issues out. There's a trade paperback. If I can find it, I'll let you have it. It's about this, like a secret department in the government that helps manage the conspiracy theories in the world. That some of them are real. Some of them are real and some of them aren't, but they're there to help control the population. It's pretty cool. It just came out. Like I said, it's only 8 issues.
That sounds cool.
It's pretty fun. The first cover has JFK on it, so obviously
I like it.
Sweet. So smash that subscribe button and like us on Facebook. And we'll be back for another episode, Rocking the Dad Pod. Appreciate it, man.
Take care. Good luck, Taylor.
Soon. Yeah, I know, right? Seriously. Oof.
Get that woman a milkshake.
Yeah, exactly. She's working today. She took yesterday off, but she's working today. So
jeez.
I'm working tonight. So
wow. Good luck.
Hey, man. Thanks a lot.
Next time. See ya.
Yes. Bye.